3 heirloom jewels with rich history were worn for a special celebrity-studded dinner at Highgrove, King Charles' countryside estate. Before we dive deep into the stories of the royal jewels, please think about supporting the channel through the small donation by clicking the thanks button. It will be much appreciated and motivate me to create new interesting videos. The King and Queen hosted a splendid dinner at Highgrove, the royal countryside mansion in Gloucestershire, celebrating Anglo-Italian ties, cuisine and sustainability.
The prestigious event was attended by David and Victoria Beckham, Helen Mirren, Donatella Versace, and other high-profile figures from the worlds of food, fashion, sport, and theatre. The reception and dinner menu featured Italian recipes with British ingredients. The hosts wore 100-year-old heirloom jewels with fascinating history, which tells stories about their ancestors. Queen Camilla donned a favorite midnight blue velvet evening gown with several important antique jewels, including 2 special bracelets that belonged to Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. In total, there are 5 bracelets in the collection. They were made in the 1920s by Cartier, Elizabeth's favorite jeweler, and have distinctive Art Deco design, with 2 of them set solely with diamonds, while the other 3 combine diamonds and colorful gemstones, rubies, sapphires and emeralds respectively. Elizabeth liked to wear all 5 of them together, jauntily stacked on one of her wrists, like in this portrait, taken during her first decade as a royal. The bracelets also could be converted into a bandeau-style tiara. Queen Elizabeth II inherited the bracelets in 2002. But unlike her mother, she wore them 1 or 2 at a time. Now these jewels belong to King Charles. His wife donned the emerald bracelet a year ago with an emerald velvet dress for Shakespeare event at Grosvenor House. And in December last year we saw her wearing the ruby bracelet for the first time for the Qatari state banquet at Buckingham Palace. Also for the Highgrove dinner, along with royal family heirlooms, Camilla wore one of her own. A striking diamond necklace in the shape of a serpent with 2 ruby eyes was made by Van Cleef and Arpels around 100 years ago. It originally belonged to Camilla's grandmother, Sonia Cubitt, the daughter of illustrious Alice Keppel, the mistress of Charles's great-great-grandfather King Edward VII. Sonia was born in 1900, 2 years after her mother became the last link in the long chain of mistresses who entertained the lustful king. Much of Sonia's childhood was spent in the center of splendid British high society. Little Miss Keppel called the monarch Kingy, but things changed when Kingy died in 1910. The Keppels, no longer welcomed at court, settled in Italy. But when Sonia came of age she triumphantly returned to British beau monde and was often praised by newspapers for her beauty and charm. In 1920 she married Roland Cubitt, the 4th son of Baron Ashcombe, who suddenly and unexpectedly became heir to his father's title, after all 3 his elder brothers were killed in the First World War. Sonia and Roland divorced in 1947 after having 3 children, on the grounds that Roland had abandoned his wife 3 years prior. Sonia never remarried, dedicating her time to a writing career, becoming an author of several books. Camilla first debuted her grandmother's diamond serpent necklace in 2001, way before she married Charles. But we might have seen this jewel before. In the photo from her first wedding in 1973, we can spot a diamond serpent bracelet worn by the then Camilla Shand. Since that shares many elements with this necklace, and the 2 have never been worn together, it is possible that this heirloom jewel can be worn in both ways, as a bracelet and a necklace. Some people see a snake as an evil creature, but it is quite popular motif for jewelry and in most cases symbolizes eternal love. Queen Victoria even had her engagement ring in the shape of a snake. Victoria's daughter-in-law, Queen Alexandra, wore a snake bracelet on her wrist. Queen Camilla is not only contemporary royal who wears jewelry with this controversial reptile. Sheikha Moza, the mother of the Emir of Qatar, also has a diamond serpent necklace by Cartier in her jewelry box. Queen Maxima of the Netherlands has recently pinned a vintage snake brooch to her green top and wore large statement earrings with black and red snakes in the past. But let's return from the Netherlands to the royal dinner at Highgrove. On the right wrist, Her Majesty wore another jewel from Van Cleef & Arpels, blue agate and gold Alhambra bracelet. It features four-leaf lucky clover and probably has sentimental meaning for the Queen, as she almost never parts with this jewel. The King also has a lucky charm he never parts with. It is his signet ring, which he has worn on his pinky finger since the 1970s. It is engraved with the Prince of Wales's coat of arms, 3 white ostrich feathers, encircled by a gold coronet. Signet rings originated in ancient civilizations as a way to authenticate documents and have become symbols of status, authority, and power. They were used by religious leaders, pharaohs, merchants, and officials. The rings were so personal to the individual that they could be considered fingerprints. The rings were passed down through generations and became cherished family heirlooms. That's exactly what happened to King Charles's signet ring, which is 180 years old. It is the official signet of the Prince of Wales and was created for Charles's great-great-granddad, Edward VII, when he bore the title of the Prince of Wales. The jewel has been passed through generations from a Prince of Wales to a successor of the title. The ring was last worn by Charles's great-uncle King Edward VIII, who died in 1972. Perhaps he gave or bequeathed the ring to Charles, the then Prince of Wales. The signet ring is traditionally worn on the pinky finger of the non-dominant hand. As the king is right-handed, he wears his ring on his left hand. By all the logic, Charles should have passed the ring to his son when William became the Prince of Wales, but the monarch continues to wear the jewel. Perhaps the heirloom has become his lucky charm, but also many sources report that the current Prince of Wales is personally against any jewelry wearing. He even has refused to wear a wedding band. For more stories from the jewelry box, please subscribe to the channel.